Hi, my name is Hannah Hampton. These are my Unit 4 weather observations. As a reminder, I made my daytime observations on the UAF campus at about 1 to 1:30 p.m. My measurements were taken from my home in North Pole, southeast of Fairbanks, at about 8 p.m. My observations were made the week of January 26th through January 30th. I will be using the Fairbanks International Airport for my National Weather Service data station. This is my temperature plot. The first 4 days of my observations, January 26th through the 29th, my thermometer read LL.L because it was colder than negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. If I estimated the temperature to be about negative 40 to negative 45, my plot would more closely resemble the data from the Fairbanks International Airport. On the first day, January 26th, the NWS data station recorded a low of negative 44 and a high of negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. The Beaufort scale measured 0, with no noticeable feeling or effects of wind. There were no clouds or precipitation. January 27th was much the same as the previous day. The NWS data station recorded a low of negative 42 and a high of negative 27 degrees Fahrenheit. The Beaufort scale remained a 0. There were no clouds or precipitation. Little had changed by the third day of observations, January 28th. The Fairbanks International Airport measured a low of negative 38 with a high of negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit. The Beaufort scale remained at 0. There were no clouds or precipitation. On January 29th, I still measured the temperature to be LL.L, while the NWS data station measured a low of negative 38 and a high of negative 29 degrees Fahrenheit. On this day, the Beaufort scale was a 1. I could just barely feel wind on my face, but I could not see its effects on my breath or on trees. A few thin, wispy, and highly elevated cirrus clouds also appeared on this day. There was no precipitation. I was very excited on the final day of my observations, January 30th, when I was finally able to measure a low of negative 31.5 and a high of negative 27.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The NWS data station recorded a low of negative 38 with a high of negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The Beaufort scale measured a 1 when I could still feel the wind and see it move my breath. The cirrus clouds appeared again on this day, with a few extra in number. They maintained the same appearance of being very thin and highly elevated. There was no precipitation. On January 26th, I recorded the barometric pressure to be 1,009 millibars, quite a bit less than the NWS stations recorded 1,021 millibars. The next day, I recorded a barometric pressure of 1,019 millibars, which was closer to the NWS station's recording of 1,025 millibars. On January 28th, barometric pressure rose again to 1,023 millibars, nearly equal to the 1,028 millibars measured at the NWS station. The barometric pressure rose slightly to 1,029 millibars at my observation station, while the pressure rose significantly to 1,038 millibars at the NWS data station. On the final day of observations, the barometric pressure rose to 1,040 millibars, 11 millibars greater than the day before. The NWS station recorded a slight rise in the barometric pressure to 1,042 millibars. Although my measurements were lower than the NWS data stations, the overall trend is still apparent, with small daily increases in the middle of the week and a significant increase between the last 2 days. On the first day, January 26th, there were quite a few pressure systems, with the low pressure systems in the south following along the Aleutian Islands and the Gulf of Alaska, and the high pressure systems further north. My pressure measurement of 1,009 millibars fits right in here, between the pressure systems of 1,030 millibars and 1,011 millibars. On the 27th, the low pressure systems moved further south, with the high pressure systems following. As the high pressure systems began to move into the interior, I recorded an increase in barometric pressure. On the 28th, we can see an increase in barometric pressure in the north and in the interior. And again, the low pressure systems moved further south. The 29th brought a cold front from Russia as the pressure on that side sharply decreased. Northern and interior Alaska is still experiencing high pressure systems with 1,040 millibars. while I experienced an increase in pressure of 1,029 millibars in my observation station. We can see clouds moving north, which accounts for my sighting of cirrus clouds on this day. The last day of observation, January 30th, we can see sharp increases of barometric pressure along the north and the east of the state, where it reached 1,050 millibars. This accounts for the sharp increase I noticed of 1,040 millibars at my location. We can see more clouds moving in from the south again. Warmer air also moved in, which allowed me to get a reading on my thermometer with a high of negative 27.4 degrees Fahrenheit. This slide shows the TV weather maps and GOES images from January 26, the first day of my observations. Here are the high pressure systems to the north with the low pressure systems towards the south. From the visible image, we can tell by the darker color there were very few clouds in the state. From the water vapor images, we can tell there was no precipitation. From the infrared image, the lighter color suggests it was colder in the state. Thank you for watching my Unit 4 screencast.